The continent of Africa is moving north towards Asia and Europe, causing this ancient seaway to disappear. Basilosaurus will disappear with it. Next in store is the Pliocene, the time when our earliest ancestors were starting to walk upright. It's surprising what lived in our seas just 4 million years ago.
We're in Peru, right on the rim of the Pacific Ocean. And living out there, there's something terrifying. So if you're afraid of sharks, you'll be a gibbering wreck when you see what we're going to try next. Look, the most famous jaws in history are great white sharks. I've swum with those in the open ocean, but they're minnows in comparison to the prehistoric shark I'm hoping to meet, Megalodon, the biggest carnivorous fish that's ever lived. That name, Megalodon, what it means big tooth. And I don't think I need to explain why.
By hunting a Megalodon, we were getting into ever more dangerous waters, and caution had started to creep in amongst the crew. There was disagreement about our next course of action.
I think we should head straight out into the deep water. The weather may change. Let's look for the adults.
I think we should start with the juveniles.
We haven't got enough time to do that.
Oh, I think we should go for the smaller ones.
We couldn't be sure how Megalodon would behave. Some argued that it would be worth studying smaller, safer juveniles before risking a dive with an adult. In the end, I had to agree.
I'll do one dive with the juveniles, and then I think we ought to head out into the drop-off and try to find the adults.
With sharks, it's all about diving in the right place. Like young great whites, juvenile Megalodon tend to be in shallow water away from the adults. Partly for their own safety, but also they do prey on very different things. There shouldn't be any adults on this dive.
I'm hugging the kelp here. I don't want to be caught out in open water. Big predators, they don't like going into dense weed like this. The other thing is I'm hoping to find the creatures that juvenile Megalodon prey on. And they are the oddest of creatures. Odobenocetops leptodon. That name is a mix of Greek and Latin, and it means the whale that walks on its teeth. And if it turns towards us, you can see why. One tusk is about 1 foot long, but on the other side, the right-hand side, look at that. It's about 3 feet long, and the males probably use those for jousting with each other in the breeding season, just like narwhals. Slurping sounds, they are superb. Flipping heck, look! Take my eyes off that. The biggest great white shark ever was just over 20 feet long. That thing, it must be just 3 years old, and that's that size already.
Just imagine diving with a full-grown Megalodon, 20 times the weight of this one. What had I let myself in for? We'd seen a juvenile Megalodon, but we hadn't yet learned that much about them. I specifically wanted to see how they hunted. We couldn't just wait around for an attack to happen. We needed to make it happen.
This Odobenocetops, it wouldn't fool you or me, but hopefully as a decoy it will fool the juvenile Megalodons. If they're anything like great whites, when they see this in silhouette at the surface, they should come up to investigate, and it will enable us to learn a bit more about them.
Our dummy didn't swim as well as an Odobenocetops, but the young sharks didn't seem to be put off by that. After just 15 minutes, our onboard camera got the shock of its life.
Look at what's happened to the decoy. Did it hit it from below?
Straight up from underneath.
You can see the damage that was done here. It seems that Megalodon has one of the same hunting techniques as great white sharks. What they do, they can't afford to be injured by their prey. They sneak up from below, make a devastating attack, and the power of that big fish, well, look what it's done to this decoy. This is obviously weaker than a real animal, real sinew and muscle, so that's why it smashed it in two. But if this was a real animal, it would of course bleed to death. Then the shark would come in when it was really weak and then make the final coup de grace.
Megalodon are probably relatives of great whites, and we now knew that the juveniles attack their prey in a very similar way. But what about the adults? How did they hunt? And what does a shark over 50 feet long prey on? Leaving the juveniles behind, we took our boat a few miles offshore. It was time to meet a monster.
Anyone who's tried to get close to sharks knows this eye-watering stench. It's the smell of chum. That's a mix of fish blood, fish oil, bits of fish pieces. What we're going to do is throw that over the side. There'll be a trail of odour which will go for miles in the current. A Megalodon will smell that and start zigzagging towards the boat. When it gets close, we've also got this amazing delicacy for it, a great big bag of fish chunks, and that should entice it and keep it around the boat. And if they do come, what we've got here is Shark Cam. There's a little camera inside this. We want to get an insight into the world of the Megalodon. I've got to get close enough to attach it to the base of the massive dorsal fin of a Megalodon. It won't hurt the shark. This will dissolve in a couple of days. The camera will pop up to the surface and then we'll find it and hopefully get some insight into the behaviour of the wild Megalodon.
Sure there's something to the left over there.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
Look at that thing. It can't be anything else but an adult Megalodon. It's more like a sail than a fin, and what we've got to do now is get the cage into the water.
You can see the blood and the fish oil leaking out of the chum bag. I need to be really prepared for this with the camera. We may only get one chance at it. Who knows how long the Megalodon's going to hang around. This is scary, I'm scared. Look, it's coming straight for the cage. Oh, my word. Nothing prepares you for this. Oh, I feel like just shooting to the surface and getting out of this cage. But I gotta pull myself together. I must admit, I am really scared of this. He looks like he's taking a pass now where he's going to be really close. And let's see whether I can get the short cam on. Oh, missed that time. Oh, I've got to get the camera onto the fin. This is hopeless. This is harder than I thought. The fin is just too high. And he's coming straight at the cage.
I can't attach the camera from the cage, so I'm going to try from this platform. The chum ball, don't put it over the side. Keep your eye on the shark. See if you can get it in a line along here, please. And I'll be ready.
Do you have what it takes to capture a megalodon? Visit bbc.co.uk/science and test your survival skills in the 7 deadly seas.